In this episode, we will be looking at a P5 question from Bukit Panjang Primary, SA2 paper in 2021, question number 10 of paper 2. Now let me bring your attention to this sentence over here. Some days later, Alice had used 96 tokens and Barry had used 42 tokens. From this sentence here, we will be able to find the total difference between the number of tokens that Alice and Barry had used. So we will start by finding the total difference in the tokens used. That will be using 96 to take away the 42, and that gives us 54. So 54 tokens is the total difference between the number of tokens that Alice and Barry had used after some days. Now next, since we have the total difference for the tokens used, you should know that according to our difference equals to multiple strategy, you will need to find each difference in the number of tokens used per day. So now let's look at this sentence over here. Alice received 4 tokens more than Barry each day, and Barry saved 5 more tokens than Alice each day. Since we know that Barry saved 5 more tokens than Alice every day, Alice must have used 5 more tokens than Barry if they receive the same number of tokens every day. It's not the case because we are given that Alice received 4 tokens more than Barry every day. So then, since we know that, it must have meant that Alice must have spent that 4 extra tokens that she had received. So that puts the each difference for the number of tokens that they used every day to be 5 plus 4, which gives us 9. Now, if you're still a little unsure why the each difference used per day is 9, now let me draw a table to illustrate this. So I have Alice and Barry on each side. Now, we are given that Alice received 4 tokens more than Barry each day. So we're going to use a set of values. In this case, I'm going to use 14 and 10. You could definitely use another set of values that are different from mine, and it's going to be fine. Okay, so next on, we know that Barry saved 5 more tokens than Alice each day. So we're going to use another set of values that actually indicates that. So in this case, I'm going to say that Alice saved 1 token per day. And since Barry saved 5 more, so Barry must have saved 6 tokens per day. In this scenario here, we're still talking about each day. Okay, now given that Alice actually had 14 tokens, and she saved 1, so that must have meant that she used 13 tokens. Okay, and for Barry, since he started with 10 and he saved 6, so he must have used 4 tokens per day. So we're going to bring your attention to the number of tokens used for each of them. Since we know that Alice used 13 every day and Barry used 4 tokens every day. So the difference, as you can see, the difference in the number of tokens used is 13 take away 4, and that gives us 9. So you can see that the difference between the number of tokens used every day per day is 9, which is the same as using the 5 to add the 4. Okay, so note that even if you use a different set of values from me, so long as you fulfill the conditions that is stated in the question, you will still be able to get the each difference to be 9. Okay, coming back to this, since we know that the each difference in the number of tokens used per day is 9, and that would mean that if it's 2 days later, the difference will become 9 times 2, which is 18. And 3 days later, the difference will become 9 times 3, which is 27. We're trying to find out how many days does it take for that total difference to become 54. So simply just use 54 to divide by 9. And that will give you the number of days that it took for Alice to use 96 tokens and for Barry to use 42 tokens. So in part A, the question is asking you, how many days did Alice take to use up the 96 tokens? So the answer for part A will be 6 days. In part B, the question is asking you, how many tokens did Alice use up each day? given that she used the same number of tokens every day. So since we know that Alice took 6 days to use up that 96 tokens, so to find the number of tokens that she used per day, we just have to use 96 to divide by 6, and that gives us 16. So the answer for part B will be 16 tokens used per day. So this may seem like a very challenging question, but if you digest the question part by part, and if you use the strategy of difference equals to multiples, it is actually very simple and straightforward to solve this.